हरि ओम. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं. हरि ओम. Om Manah Shodhanam is the name of the text that Guruji has composed. Actually, one sadhana sopan, that is the complete text with 4 parts of it. It has covered the whole spiritual sadhana. So, out of that, first is Manah Shodhanam, purity of mind, and then further 3 more are there that we will take in that sequence. So, this Manah Shodhanam is 25 verses, Sanskrit verses, and very practical means Guruji gives us to be happy. So here we go. Om Paramatma Dvayananda Sarvabhutasthitopiha Ajnanenavruto Drushtas Tathaiva Chamanomalaihi. Even though the non-dual, blissful, supreme self dwells in the hearts of all beings, it is not experienced by them, being veiled by ignorance and also by the impurities of the mind. As any text or anything is started with the remembrance of the Lord, that is called Mangalacharan. So Guruji starts here because the first word is Paramatma, and with this is auspicious beginning, it is called Paramatma. Then Advayananda, one without second. Advaya means one alone. Sarva Bhuta Sthitopiha. And he is, further Guruji says, now he starts the discussion why Manah Shodhanam, why it is required to purify mind. Guruji says, even though this blissful and one alone Supreme Self resides in the heart of all, Ajnanena avrutaha drushtaha tathaiva cha manomalaihi, but it is covered by a deep dark veil of ignorance and also because of the impurities of mind. Now here whatever has been created, so in everything the core is that Supreme Self, and that is bliss par excellence. So it doesn't have any limitation, and it doesn't depend on anything, that bliss of the one's own nature, that doesn't, it is there in everybody, but we don't experience that. All the animals and birds and especially human beings, they don't experience that infinite happiness. Why? 2 reasons Guruji says. One is ignorance that covers that supreme nature of the Paramatma, and second thing, impurities of mind. Now ignorance about our own self is the first factor, because of which we don't know that we are happiness itself, and so we require nothing to be happy. And second, this is why this ignorance results into the impurities of mind, because when this notion is there and I am ignorant about myself and I don't know this, then I don't remain quiet just by not knowing, but further I superimpose these things, that yes, I have to do something for happiness. Then this I notion is there, this identity with body, etc. So then this all fear comes, and then competition, then conflicts, and then all quarrels, and then selfishness, and to get more and more comfort for body, and then laziness, lethargy, and then all other evil practices, whatever we see in the world, right, for stealing, etc., bribery, dishonesty, terrorism, that all comes, hoarding and all. That is all manomala. Mainly it is categorized in six, like desire, anger, hatred, and greed, jealousy, etc. So these modifications are called manomal. Because of that, we don't experience that blissful self of us. It hinders us from being happy. Further, Guruji says, ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञाने नष्टे भाति स्वयं हि सः सत्यमेतत्तथापीह कष्टमेकं च वर्तते. However, when the ignorance is dispelled by knowledge, it, the Supreme Self, shines by itself. Though this fact is true, there is a difficulty in grasping it. Now, if these two things hinder us from being happy, then how it will be seen? So, first is naturally, ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञाने नष्टे भाति स्वयं सः. When knowledge dispels that ignorance, which is the first cause, then definitely self shines on its own, because it is self-effulgent and pure knowledge itself. It doesn't require any other knowledge to be aware of it. Only the thing of that ignorance is to be removed, and ignorance gets removed only by knowledge, because knowledge is the epithet, knowledge is the antidote of ignorance. Satyametat, this is true. Tathapi iha ekam kashtam vartate. Tathapi iha kashtam ekam cha vartate. This is true. What you say is true. But still, one problem is there. One difficulty is there. Even an understanding also. Means it is obvious that when we get self-knowledge, it will dispel the ignorance of self, and then we will find that happiness. But it is difficult. Why? Further he says, यावन्मलान क्षीयन्ते मनसो रागरूपकाः तावन्न तत्त्वजिज्ञासा जायते मानुषे हृदि. यावन्मलान क्षीयन्ते, as long as the impurities of the mind, such as attachment, etc., are not weakened, washed off, so long the desire for knowing the truth does not arise in the human heart. Guruji says that yavan malana kshiyante, till this impurities doesn't go, these modifications of mind and thoughts are there, which actually take away our peace and bliss. That desires, selfish desires, ego and egocentric desires, and anger, etc., for the things, these are called mala. Till this dirt doesn't go, it doesn't end, manaso raga rupakaha, and of course attachment, etc., tavan no tattva jijnasa jayate manushe hrudi. Till that time, even desire to know will not arise in the hearts of human beings. Remember, earlier he said that if that ignorance is removed by knowledge, self-knowledge, then we will feel that happiness. But to have that self-knowledge, first there should be desire to know, and that desire doesn't happen till our mind is impurified by this desire, anger, attachment, etc. In this way, this is little complicated problem. So first what we have to do, Guruji says further, Kathanchit yadi jayeta tatvecha purvakarmatah bodhopi jayate yadva tannistha naiva sambhavet. If somehow this desire for truth arises due to a past karmas, and even if the understanding of the knowledge also takes place while listening, but firm abidance in it, the Supreme said, does not take place. In case, fortunately, if this desire is arisen, means if our mind becomes poor and desire is there, but still, by chance, we understand also, while listening or reading, we understand also the process of how we are happy, we are happiness itself. But still firm abidance in that, we cannot get established in that bliss, because again this dirt is there, these all thought modifications are there, we are attached to so many things. Until and unless we give up that attachment, give up that desire, give up that anger, our mind cannot be pure to have established in this bliss, which is the result of self-knowledge. Further Guruji says, Nishtha bhavat paranando jivan muktasya yoginah sadhakaya nanubhuyeta vifalam tarhi sadhanam. In the absence of this abidance, the seeker do not experience that supreme bliss enjoyed by the yogi who is liberated while living, and in that case, there the seeker's practice becomes fruitless. And when this abidance establishment is not there, when this constant remembrance of our own nature is not there, nishtha abhavat, in absence of that, paranandah jivanmuktasya yoginah sadhakaihi na anubhuyeta. The supreme bliss, Paramananda, it is called Brahmananda, that we don't experience, we don't have, and we don't become happy then. But that is enjoyed by those who are ever connected to that knowledge, to that Lord. Vifalam tari sadhanam, but in our case, then our all spiritual practices become fruitless, in vain they go. And therefore we find people, they say, so much time I spent in all this reading, writing, reflection, japa, puja, dhyan and all. But I don't feel that unconditional happiness which always they describe in these scriptures. Many people say. So because that establishment in that truth is not there. Till we read, till we listen, till that time that is there. But immediately after that, mind comes to its own earlier habits. And then, but 24/7 we cannot just sit and read or meditate or do japa, etc. So this thing happens. Nishtha abhavat paranandah jivan muktasya yoginah sadhakaihi na anubhuyeta vifalam tarhi sadhanam. Then we feel sometimes that frustrated, oh, so much, 25 years over, 30 years over, I am doing this. And where is that happiness of the self, Brahmananda, Atmananda? Guruji says further, Dhrudhanishtaika siddhyartham manashuddhirapekshita तदर्थं साधकाः सर्वे यतन्तां दृढनिश्चयाः. Now Guruji comes the reason for this purity of mind, Manah Shodhanam, that is the name of the text. Why it is needed? To have that establishment in that knowledge and constant remembrance of that. Manashuddhi apekshita. Dridhanistha ekasiddhyartham manashuddhi apekshita. The requirement of purity of mind is very much for getting established in that self-knowledge, which will give us happiness. Tadartham sadhakaha sarve yatantam dridhanishchayaha. And therefore, with firm determination, with a firm resolve, all the seekers should try to get that purity of mind. Let all the seekers gain that purity of mind so that they will get established in the self-knowledge, and by that they will be ever happy. They will know that I am of the nature of the happiness itself. Further Guruji says, Manashuddhikaraniha sadhanani vadantiha yajñodanam tapaschaiva japastirtham vratastatha. Prescribe many means. Our teachers and saints and sages prescribe many means to purify the mind. Example, yajna, charity, austerity, japa, pilgrimage and vows. Now the question is how to get this purity of mind. So Guruji says, Manashuddhi karani iha sadhanani vadantiha. The means or the spiritual practices by which we get this purity of mind are described. For example, many are there, but for example, yajño danam tapaschaiva japastirtham vratastatha. Sacrifice, doing fire rituals and various worships, puja, offering of so many things like Laksharchana they do, Sahasrarchana they do, Namarchana, Shlokarchana, means taking God's name or some reading hymns, etc. They offer tulsi leaves or durva leaves, bail, shami or indivisible whole rice they will offer, maybe kumkum or bhasma they offer, bhasmarchana, kumkumarchana, tapas, and of course austerity is there. Then tapaschaiva, japas, repetition of God's name, that is much more emphasized by all. Tirtham, to go to pilgrimage, have the darshan of the holy places and stay in that sacred places, vratastatha, and taking different vows. Sometimes they take a vow that unless and until I listen the song of cuckoo, I will not eat. It is called Kokila Vrat. So I should listen to cuckoos, and in those days, of course, 4-5 months where these cuckoos sing. So in this way, very many vows are there. Like Santoshi Mata's vow, I will not eat sour things on Fridays, etc. So these vrata vows are taken, and person goes to pilgrimage, that should be done for making mind pure. Then of course repetition of Lord's name, 40 rosaries, 40 malas of 108 beads. If you do, likewise whatever your mantra is there or God's name is there that you have decided to do japa, then whatever number of letters is there in that mantra, so many crores repetition of names if you do, then that becomes fruitful. Like Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. These are 13 letters. So if 13 crores japa we do, then that becomes accomplished. Om Namah Shivaya. That also 5 letters, or you can including Om, then these are 6 letters. So that we can take. So 5 crores or 6 crores. So in this way, repetition of japa, that is prescribed for our purity of mind. Dana, whatever we have, share it, share it, share it. Daily, after a bath, you take dana. After taking bath, whatever needy person comes, or you go to them and do charity. This charity also helps in purity of mind, because possessiveness is there. This is this is mine. So this mine attitude, mamata, minus, that is given, because now since I have given this thing in charity to you, now it no more remains mine. So then it helps us to do sacrifice, to have this passion. In this way, it purifies mind, dana and yajna, of course, getting all the things that are required for it, and organizing people and place and all, priests who will chant those mantras. So lot of preparation, and then invoke that God with clear pronunciation, and then give as much to give as much dakshina, fees they want, and to please them with all reverence and respect, etc. So this all yajna. Of course, yajna has another meaning also, that a thing that is required for the benefit of all, that is done done by organizing all the people and taking contribution from all. So when a person just gives, to offer water who are thirsty, that water place we have to connect, then that land is to be acquired, and prepare all the people, take their contributions also in that, inspire them to work and make that happen, which is the need of the society. That's also yajna. So like this, many means are said to for this purity of mind. Like chanting and doing parayans, recitations of all the granthas, meditation. But one means is that which is greater, superior and higher than this all, which is that means of purification of mind. Guruji says further, vichara sadhanam shreshtham varnyate trayatha mati mahatvam tasya vai proktam krishnena swayamevahi. Enquiry, which is the best means, is being expounded here as per my understanding. Indeed, Lord Krishna himself has spoken of its greatness. Inquiry or thinking, right thinking, is one means to have purity of mind, and surprisingly, it is greater than all these other means. Why? Because it requires the least energy. It doesn't require any money. It doesn't require any other material, no place or any other preparation. But just you are there and you can think, because always this thinking capacity is there with you. That is inherent in you, intellect, mind and attention. So therefore, this inquiry or right thinking is a superior means than this all. Because one person may not be having money or this strength to do all pilgrimage, etc., and that capacity to do these full-fledged worships, elaborate worships of Lords, and prepare all the sacred wood, etc., for fire ritual, and for charity also. But this thinking anybody can do if he knows how to think rightly, if he knows how to inquire on the basis of our scriptures as guided by saints and sages. That is there. Acha, do you yourself say that this thinking is the superior means to purify mind? Or does it have any scriptural support? So Guruji gives that further. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramih vidyate bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. There is nothing here as purifying as knowledge, and many individuals purified by the penance of knowledge have attained my being. And this inquiry's importance is given by Shri Krishna himself. Mahatvam tasya vai proktam Krishnena swayamevahi. Lord Shri Krishna himself has given importance of this thinking as a means of purification of mind. Where? In Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramih vidyate tat swayam yoga sansiddha kalena atmani vindati. And the result of it, bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. So this come in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and Guruji says that this is the thinking, right thinking or inquiry is the very effective and very easy means of purifying mind, which we can perform anywhere. And why this is said, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramya vidyate? There is no other purifier like knowledge. As we wash our body with soap or clean our vessels, so in that way we cannot put this mind into washing machine or apply detergent powder in it, etc. And see, we have seen that what is the impurity of the mind? Attachment, desire, anger, greed, jealousy, these all. So when we think what these emotions are, how they arise, and what to do to avoid them, and make our mind, train our mind in such a way that they will not arise in it, then mind will become very pure, because these impurities are not there, these dirty modifications of thoughts are not there. So in this way this thinking is there, and then basically this knowledge, nahi jnanena sadrusham, this knowledge guides us how to work, how to do action with detachment and offering to God. In that context it has come in 4th chapter, and thereby our pressure of earlier inclinations and tendencies that go away, and when that load is lightened, our heart gets filled itself with this bliss, that these all feelings are like stone that is there in that when water is there, water is just like coming out, but oozing out, but the stone is there on that. So when that is removed, automatically that water starts flowing, and that well, that lake gets full of that. So in the same way, bliss is already there. Only what is choking its flow, what is suffocating, that those bad emotions we have to do away, and that is done by this knowledge. Bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. And because of this austerity of knowledge, that is right thinking and inquiry, one becomes puta, means pure, clean hearted, clarity, the purity of mind comes, and madbhava magataha. I, they come to me, they merge in me, they become me. Who am I? Of the nature of bliss. Sukha Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, that's what we saw. So they become pure, they become blissful, they become bliss itself. Acha. Further Guruji says, Etad bhagavato vakyam svatma shuddhyaika siddhaye vicharyate maya samyak Shri Harir me prasidatam. So up till this was forward, and now Guruji says that what is my purpose. Etad bhagavato vakyam swatma shuddhaika siddhaye vicharyate maya samyak Shri Harir me prasidatam. I undertake inquiry into the meaning of these words of the Lord for the sole purpose of gaining purity of mind. May Shri Hari be pleased with me and may He bless me. So the verses that come in Bhagavad Gita, that knowledge is the greatest purifier, and those who do this right thinking and inquiry gets purified and they come to me. They get the greatest happiness of the world. They come to know their nature of bliss. These sentences now I will ponder over, I will think over, I will elaborate. So may God give me strength and inspiration for that. Maybe He please me and bless me for that. Further Guruji says, now Guruji starts this inquiry. So we say purity of mind, Manah Shodhanam. So what is impurity? That he counts first. Raga dveshadaya kamak krodha lobhadayo picham ahankarastatha swartho vividhva manaso malaha. Likes, dislikes, etc., desire, anger, greed, ego and selfishness, etc. Such are the various impurities of the mind. Dirt of mind, impurities of mind which we want to cleanse it off. What are they? So some are quoted here, others we can understand. So likes and dislikes. And these are very strong likes and dislikes people have. Actually, from the beginning only, we teach the child to have this. And this is impurity of mind, unknown. Unknowingly, we just make that mind of the child full of impurities because likes and dislikes. I like this so much. I like pizza. I like more chocolate. I like ice cream. I like cake. Extreme likes and also extreme dislikes. I hate that. I don't want that. And many times exactly whatever he has to do, whatever is good for his future, that he hates. I saw once this screensaver of a boy who was in 12th. So he says, I hate 12th. That will keep gliding on the screen. It is okay that parents etc. who nag them after that, and one-sided importance emphasis is given on the marks of that year only. There is also reason for that. But still, extreme hates and disgust and dislikes are there. So that is making our mind impure. That is prohibiting us to experience that bliss that we have to understand. And so many times Bhagavan says that becomes sama, Priya, we become equal in all, because they are bound to come. It is not that whatever we like, that only will happen in our life. We cannot do that. Since we have come here, merits and demerits, more or less, they both were there, therefore we have come here. And therefore, conducive things will also happen and non-conducive will also happen. Dislikes, dislikes, desire. Desire means kamana, desire means want. Many shades of meanings are there, but mainly selfish desires, ambitions, and great ambitions, passion, infatuation, etc. Desire to indulgence, desire to indulgence, anger. Then, if desire is not fulfilled, then the emotion that is directed towards that obstacle because of which desire is not fulfilled is called anger. So, like an avalanche, this desire comes down, and whatever it dashes, then from that anger comes. It is given in an equation that desire plus denial is equal to anger, or insistence plus resistance is equal to anger. Anger is said as that which prohibits happiness to us. Kam rodhayati iti krodha. Kam means happiness, sukham. Kam sukham rodhayati iti krodha, anger. So that anger is there, and you see, anger is not a feeling of happiness. You take your selfie when you are angry, and you take your selfie when you are quiet, calm, and having feelings like kindness, forgiveness, etc. You yourself will come to know the effect of these feelings. And this anger, always it is said that it just harms first you yourself, because it makes you restless, agitated, and unhappy. And it may or may not harm the person or thing about which that anger is. And people become such mad with this anger. I heard of that boy who took out his SIM from the mobile and broke it and threw from the window because he was angry. So such silly act and that anger prompts us to do. One Bhagwan Shankaracharya, Bhagwan Bhashyakar Adi Shankaracharya says, Gurumapi akroshati. In the feet of anger, when that anger exercises sway on us, when we come under the sway of it, it overpowers us. That time, we speak, Gurumapi akroshati, we speak even harsh words to our teachers and our elders, our parents and our friends, those also. And definitely, afterwards, we repent for that. But in the feet of anger, we don't know what we are doing. So basically, it is good to control it in the bud only, to nib it in the bud. And for that, great alertness is required. We should notice, we should sense the coming of surge of this feeling, emotion, anger. Ete Kam Krodhadaya, Lobha, greed. Greed is also said. Now, actually, many things, many stories, and many much discussion is there on this Krodha, etc. But we will see how Guruji goes further. So it is said greed also, Lobha. When our desire is fulfilled, this greed comes. Then again and again I want that, more and more I want that. And before anybody else. First only I want that, and the best of that I want. So it again leads to selfishness. Further it is there. Krodha, Lobha, Adayo, Ahankara, Tatha Swartha. Egoistic attitude, selfishness. Actually, these all make our personality ugly, and as if like that mosquito repellent, our friends and relatives and whoever possible, they just go away from it. Only for the necessary work they will come. If you want to be popular, and if you want lot many friends and all good wishers to us, then one should try to remove these things. Nobody like egoistic person. Ahankarasthatha swartho vivido manasa. Ahankar, I, my, to me, I did this. This is basic negativity that has come from ignorance. And when knowledge removes it, then selflessness shines. Further Guruji says, Ete sarve drishyante chitte chalati jagrati pralinam cha sada chittam naitesham drishyate gati. All these are seen only when the mind is in the working state. When the mind is absorbed in sleep, then their effects are not seen. Now Guruji goes to the very root of all these feelings. Instead of doing all this analysis and then fighting with mind to not have these emotions, etc., Guruji goes to the very cause of it, and he says, Ete sarve dushyante chitte chalache jagrati. When you have got these feelings, these impurities of mind, only in the waking state, pralinam cha yada chittam naitesham drishyate gatihi. When you are in deep sleep, when your mind stops functioning, these emotions are also not there. So in one attack, we can curb these devotions and emotions. How? By stopping that mind's function. But at present, we know only in deep sleep mind stops function. The moment we get up, immediately mind starts throbbing and projecting all the likes, dislikes, and other things also. So how to do? How to solve this puzzle? All these are seen only when the mind is in waking state, when the mind is absorbed in sleep, etc. Then these effects are not seen. Ete sarve hi dushyante chitte chalati jagrati pralinam cha yada chittam naitesham drishyate gati. And you see, for that sake, all our universe, all our world, that all is not available for us in deep sleep. So complete world, inner, outer, inner feelings, etc., and outer world also, that all depends on mind. When that mind becomes operative, then we come to know this world. So we have to think on that. Guruji says further, Jagratyapi cha vidvansam pidayanti na te tatha avidvansam yatha lokam daya patram cha sarvada. These impurities do not persecute a wise man even in his waking state, in the manner that they persecute in an ignorant individual who is ever deserving pity. In deep sleep, these things are not there, and in deep sleep, we get much rest because our mind doesn't get tired because of entertaining such thoughts. These negative thoughts use lot of our precious energy of mind. Is there anybody who don't have these impurities in Jagrat Avastha, in waking state also? Definitely rare. Maybe one in lakh that person may be, but they are there. Say Jagrati api vidvamsam pidayanti na te tatha. One who is wise, one who has knowledge, to that person these negative feelings do not trouble. Avidvamsam yatha lokam daya patram cha sarvada. But ignorant person, to him in waking state, they always trouble and they always persecute him, and therefore he becomes pitiable. He goes into pitiable state. One feels sympathy for that. So much he is just thrown here and there like this, like football. In one moment, I crave for that. In another moment, I try to run away from another thing. So in this way, this mind with these strong emotions, extreme emotions, make us toil and do hard work in throughout the life, and afterwards, what we have got? Just slavery of this mind only, because of these emotions. And it makes really us a pitiable creature. Guruji further says, Tasmad ajnanamevatra sarvada dukkha karanam tatsvarupam hi jnatavyam vicharena dhunamaya. Therefore, ignorance alone is the cause of sorrow. Though through inquiry I should understand its nature and its mode of operation. Tasmat ajnanam eva atra sarvada dukkha karanam. Therefore, ignorance is the cause of all trouble, all problems. Tat swarupam hi jnatavyam vicharena adhuna maya. And therefore, I should know the nature of ignorance. I should do analysis of that by inquiry, by right thinking. So that's what I begin now. What will happen? Now I will do inquiry about ignorance. And then this ignorance will be removed by knowledge. When I will think about ignorance, I will be able to remove that, end that, by of course knowledge. And when I will get knowledge, then as said in the earlier stanza, that in waking state also, these negative feelings will not torture me. My mind will be pure and then I will experience that happiness. Very logically, step by step, Guruji has done this analysis. Further, Satya buddhir yada drushe svatmano bhinnata tatha sukha buddhistada tasmin dukkha buddhir hiva bhavet. When there exists a notion that the seen world is real and different from me, then alone there arises the notion that it gives me joy and sorrow. See now, very careful and attentive how this inquiry is done. Satya buddhir yada drushye. Whatever we see, if we take it as real, true. Svatmano bhinnata tatha. Second thing, we believe that it is different than me, it is other than me. Thirdly, sukha buddhis tada tasmin. Thirdly, we believe it as having happiness, giving, able to give me happiness. Whatever we see is able to give me happiness. That's what our notion, wrong notion. Dukkha buddhirhi va bhavet. Same way, another thing is able to give me sorrow. So, three things. First, the other thing is real. Second, the other thing is other than me, different than me, separate than me. And thirdly, it is able to give me happiness or sorrow. When these three basic notions are there, then only this ignorance and these negative feelings, they torture me. See, all the negative feelings you just analyze. Suppose first is what they said, that desire. So, desire of something other than me. We first take that it is true, it is real, and thirdly, it will give me happiness. Suppose one has a desire to get transferred to other place. So now this place also, where he is at present, that place he has supposed to be real, then it is other than him and it is able to give him sorrow. And that where he wants that his transfer, that place real, other than him, and it will give him joy. If we think that one consciousness is there and only that one is true and real, and that consciousness is me, and that has taken the form of all the objects, persons and beings of the world, then these three things are not there. We don't give reality to two-ness or duality. We don't think that other thing or being is other than us, and if that is me only, not other than me, then I always have that. It is ever with me because it is me myself. So no desire will be there, and as a result, further no anger, no greed, no attachment, that all will be there. And also I am myself is of happiness nature. Therefore, nothing, the unreal things which are not there, which are not other than me, they are not able to give me joy or sorrow. So in this way, these negative tendencies will not arise in your mind. Your mind will become free, pure, free of these negative thoughts, pure, and then it will experience the joy that is inherent your own nature. So that is the technique, or that is the function that happens here. Further, Guruji says, Ragadveshau prajayete tada chitte vrthaivahi tabhyam hyaham pravarteva nivarte lokavastune. Then there arise likes and dislikes in the mind, prompted by them in vain I pursue or withdraw from the objects of the world. Just what we discussed now. Ragadveshau prajayete tada chitte vrthaivahi. Then this likes and dislikes, attachment and hatred is generated in the mind because of these three notions that we saw earlier. Tabhyam hi aham pravarte va nivarte lokavastuni. And as a result, I at least crave for, either crave for or just get repelled from that other thing. If it is the object of my love, attachment, then I try to possess that and keep it with me. Get worried because if it will go or what, I will have to bear its separateness, bereavement. If it is the object of hatred, then I always try to avoid that, to end that, and to run away from that. I never want its company. Why? Because these earlier three things, we give reality to others, take it separate than ourselves, and we, as if we give them the ability to give us sorrow and joy, sorrow or joy. रागद्वेषो प्रजायते तदा चित्ते वृथा एव हि. Actually, no need of rising, but they come because of ourselves only, our wrong notion. We ourselves empower them to persecute us. Because these objects do not assume on their own that they exist and they can give joy and sorrow and they are other than us. We only project these emotions on them. Tabhyam ya aham pravarte. And then throughout the life, if you see, you can just think. Since beginning of the life you think. What is your first memory? So when we were a child, we project that happiness in that mother. So a child wants mother. If she is not nearby, then he will scream and weep. And slowly as he grows further, then he wants all goodies, delicious fruits and chocolates and all. Then as he grows, his further interest becomes varied, and then toys and all playmates, then maybe books, and then afterwards adolescence adolescent age comes, and then the attraction of the opposite sex, to talk to them, to sit with them, to play and walk with them, to think and remember and read about that. So that all. And then as we mature and we get responsible person in family or this one, then constant and prolonged desire for having money, more money. I want wife, I want child, I want house, I want car, and for that I want money. So if we observe our own life, then we come to know that it was all effort either to acquire something or to just give up something, trying to do that. I don't want sorrow, I don't want discomfort, I don't want insult. When we know that if I go there, perhaps they will not just respect me, then we just try to avoid that, going there. A person that will disobey me, we just avoid speaking with that. So either to run away from that thing, inconducive, non-conducive thing, or to go and have, aggrandize and possess the thing that is conducive to me. This is our whole life. That's what here happens. Pravarte vanivarte lokavastuni. Further Guruji says, लाभे सुखी तदा दुःखी ह्यलाभे प्रियवस्तुनः संसारोऽयं मया प्राप्तो मिथ्याध्यासपुरस्सरः. I become happy when I gain my desired object, and unhappy if I am unsuccessful in my pursuit of it. Thus, this suffering has come to me due to false superimposition. Labhe sukhi. When I gain the desired thing, I feel that I am happy. Tatha dukhihi alabhe priyavastuni. And if the thing that I desire is not got, then I become sorrowful. So two reasons of becoming happy and sorrowful are given. Samsaraha ayam maya praptaha, and therefore this all transmigration I get. Mithya dhyasa purasara, because I myself superimpose these all feelings, these three basic feelings that we saw on them. We project these all on them. On their own, objects don't have any capacity to give us sorrow or joy, but I project them. When I get what I want, I become sorrowful, or when I avoid, I am successful in avoiding what I don't want, also I am happy. When I don't get what I want, I am sorrowful. Also, when which the thing that I don't want is inevitably coming to me, inadvertently it comes, then I am sorrowful. So two ways we become sorrowful. And this all goes in our life, not only this life, but this creates subtle tendencies in us. And again, when this body is dropped, we have to accept another body, we have to get another birth in another world, in another circumstances, in another family, to complete these vasanas again. Strongly and intensely I think that I don't want this and I want this. Suppose person want non-veg, and very strong like for that is there. Throughout the whole life he eats non-veg, but fulfilling the desire never comes that there. This desire is never ended. Analam, like fire it is. Again and again, same desire comes. We have to enjoy the same object, and never completeness, perfection, or full contentment comes because of that. So again, the strong desire, uh, the time, again and again we do. So this desire goes on becoming strong, and its subtle tendency in us, subtle inclination, that also becomes very strong, so that we have to take another birth, another body, and again we have to go through all this process. This is samsara. Then again we have to die, because that body also is made up of 5 elements, it will not last long. So again death will come, before that disease will come, before that old age will come, and all other sorrows, those are there, that will come. So this is samsara. And day before yesterday we saw 3 things make this samsara: moha, bhaya and shoka. So delusion, confusion, ignorance, then fear we saw 3 types of fear, and then lastly sorrow, pain, sorrow, grief. Okay, we heard enough about this problem. Is there any solution? Do our scriptures offer us the means to not to fall in this vicious circle? Of course, definitely. Our scriptures do say that, and that Guruji says further, Upayastu pura prokto naradena yudhishtiram chittadosha nivrutyartham shreyase chasmaramitam. Very nice, beautiful verse. However, in the olden days, sage Narad had described to King Yudhishthir the means to eradicate the impurities of one's mind. For my own good, I now remember it. Upayastu pura prokto naradena yudhishtiram. In our scriptures, like these dialogues are given, and through those dialogues, we are taught. Now Sri Krishna Arjuna dialogue, therefore we are taught. Upayastu pura prokto. So Narad says to Yudhishthir, Chitta dosha nivrutyartham shreyase cha smaramitam. And I recall that dialogue between Narada and Yudhishthir for removing the defects of my mind and for my welfare, for my ultimate good. I remember that. That's what Guruji says. So always we have to remember these good things, but that we can only if we may make these things as a member. First you make scriptures as a member of your memory, then you can remember it. First you collect these all nice teachings of our scriptures, then you can recollect it. You can recall it. First you call to scriptures, then you can recall it. So upayastu puraprokto naradena yudhishtiram chitta dosha nivrityartham shreyase cha smaramitam. And my purpose behind this remembering and this analysis is to remove the impurities of mind so that I can experience that greatest joy which I get without doing anything, which is inherent of the nature, means I am of the nature of that. Shreyase cha smarami. And my life also should be fulfilled. I should get a long lasting happiness. My life should be successful and inspiring for others. Okay. Now what did Narada say to Yudhishthir? What did Yudhishthir ask to Narada? When Narada was there in the court of Yudhishthir, he always asked, means all the kings mostly they ask same thing, that oh great sage, you are devotee and a realized saint also, you are wise, and we are just have fallen in this marshy land of this transmigration in this world. So please help us and tell us what we should do, how we should think, and how we should get out of this birth and death cycle. How to get that pure happiness, unconditional, infinite happiness. So in this way, they always ask for their good, and this comes in 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavat. In 15th, 7th canto, 7th section, 7th canto, 15th chapter, and 22 to 25, these verses. Now Guruji has quoted from it. It gives a strong antidote for some of the extreme negative emotions. He says, asankalpajayet kamam krodham kama vivarjanat arthanarthe kshaya lobham bhayam tatvavamarsanat. One should conquer desire by non-entertainment, by renouncing desire, greed, artha, anartha, ikshaya. Calamitous nature of wealth. Wealth, the desire for wealth, prosperity, money, that will be conquered by seeing the defects of that. What are the defects of that wealth? Pondering over that, you can conquer the strong desire to have wealth, become wealthy person. And lastly he says, bhayam tattva avamarsanat. Fear is conquered by the understanding of truth, by pondering, by reflecting, by contemplating in our mind on the ultimate reality, the absolute truth. Fear can be conquered. In this verse only 4 things are directed to be conquered by 4 means. Now a little bit we say the elaboration of that. Asankalpa jayet kamam. In Bhagavad Gita, the steps of falling, how we fall from our poise, those are given. How we find ourselves in hot soup, those are given. So in that this comes asankalpat jayat kamam. Dhyayato vishayan punsas sankalpasteshu jayate. Sankalpat jayate kamak krodha. Dhyayato vishayan punsas sankalpasteshu jayate. So when we think again and again of an object, then thought of that object only is formed, and again thinking gives result to the desire for that. Then I think I should have it. This thing should be mine. I should acquire it. So again and again thinking is there. Fanciful thinking. It is good. Very nice. So comfortable. So luxurious. So that will give lead to desire. And if the desire, I am alert, and as soon as the desire gets in my mind, I just remove that. Om Ganga Arpanamastu, Sri Sita Ramchandra Arpanamastu. I submit that desire. I give up that desire. I am alert. I check that, and my stamp of sanction doesn't come on that. Then I stop further acting. I stop further getting knowing the means and ways how I can acquire that. One funny sentence is there that this artificial desire creating is there through again and again those advertisements are shown, and so many hoardings and posters and boards are there all over where we walk. So that artificial desire is created, and they say that you buy a thing that you don't need with the money that you don't have to please the people that you don't like. Even if money is not there, you take loan. We are ready to give you loan, and you repay that back afterwards 10 times, 100 times more. Or some loans are like that, only interest is paid and that loan is never touched. The principal is never touched. And in this way, man pays so many times of that loan. Asankalpa jayat kamam. So when in the first place we stop that brooding, thinking over and again, and with these 3 points that we saw, not to give reality to it, not to take it as different than others, and not to think that it is able to give me happiness or sorrow. In that line, when we stop the frequent thoughts of an object, then we don't create desire. If desire is created, immediately if you just cut it, destroy it, and it is not that we have to take sword or stick and then fight with that. We have to just be witness and look at that. Is it proper? Is it really that I need? So happy is that person who don't need anything unless and until it comes to him. And for that purpose, the devotion, we can just offer ourselves to God like a small child. When the newborn child is there, it is completely dependent on mother. When that mother will bathe him, and then he will take bath. Whatever his mother will make him wear, that he will wear. Whatever mother will feed, and whenever mother will feed, whatever quantity mother will give, he will just take. Whenever mother will put him to sleep, he will stay. So in this way, when we are dependent on that God, so may Lord me put in whatever condition. Your wish is a command for me. So in this way, kamam krodha vivarjana, arthanarthekshaya lobham, and in wealth, they say, see the defects of wealth. You see all the history. Most of the time, this wealth is the cause for wars, etc. And when wealth is there, so many fear from people is there. The thief will come and loot me, dacoits will come. Or even my son, he will just go, he will oppose me. We have seen this in Humayun, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb, Jahangir, Tarashiko, so many long tradition is there. Ugrasen and this Kamsa. Kamsa just imprisoned our father, and then he got that satta. He became the king. So when wealth is there, this power is there, then there is fear from even our near and dear relatives also, of these thieves also, of government also. It may put raid and it will just capture all the wealth, etc. somebody will just give me wrong information about me. If he has become enemy, if he has asked for something, I have said no, so he will just give and report wrong things about me. And afterwards it will be, I will be proved okay, but till that time I will suffer. There will be fire and everything will be burned to ashes, whatever I owe. So many fear from, even fear from oneself. It is said in our scriptures, in Srimad Bhagavad only it comes, that this wealthy person has fear from himself, that I will spend more and then my wealth will go. And when that wealth one has to give as charity, etc., so many pains some people have. यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थम फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः क्रियते च बहुक्लेशम. So with pain it is given. Arthanarthe kshaya lobham. And when that wealth is used for indulgence, then again that brings diseases, various diseases. Our lifespan becomes slow because of that wealth. One becomes idle, one becomes passive. And many times we see that the next generation of such wealthy persons always go to either addictions and they destroy their life. They become just useless for anything because no labor, no dignity of labor, and they destroy their health also and life also. Arthanarthe kshaya lobham. Bhayam tattvam archanat. And fearless one becomes when one contemplates on the knowledge principle. Understanding the truth, one becomes fearless. And what is this truth? Truth is that one consciousness is there. This individual self is the same and one is as this supreme self. So this is the truth. And understanding this, it results in finding love for all. If anybody is me, myself, then I will not have fear of him. Wherever that oneness is there, fear is not there. One person was sleeping in the night on upper story, and he just listened some sound from downstairs, and he thought somebody has come, thief has come, and then he was fearing also, he was afraid of going also, but then he wake up and got up and slowly he was going, and what he saw, that his own father was taking something from fridge. So when this oneness came, he is my father, then immediately fear went away. So when we find oneness with all the universe, then we become completely fearless. This we have seen in the life of so many saints and sages. Bhayam tattva. We can think more on that. And further Guruji says, Anvikshikya shokamohau dambham mahadupasaya yogantarayan maunena himsam kayadyanihaya. Grief and delusion should be conquered by self-knowledge, hypocrisy by serving the noble ones, obstacles in yoga by silence, and injury to anyone by controlling one's physical activities. Anvikshikya shokamoho. This inquiry of self-knowledge will remove the delusion and grief. Grief and delusion will be removed by that. Dambham mahadupasaya. And when hypocrisy is there, untruthful is there, boasting our oneself is there, So that is removed by serving great people. Yoga Antarayan. Hypocrisy by serving the noble souls. Yoga Antarayan Maunena. Obstacles in yoga by silence. Yoga Antarayan Maunena. So if we are doing some spiritual practices and in that some difficulties or some stoppages or hurdles come, then that we have to remain silent and then it will go. Himsam kaya danihaya. Injury to anyone by controlling one's physical activities. I feel like slapping, so I control my hand and this activity of raising my hand to beat someone. So in this way, having control our own limbs, our own parts of body, action of that, we can overcome the feeling to injure someone. So non-injury will be there. Anmik shikya shokamoho dambham mahadupasaya yogantarayan maunena himsam kayadi anihaya. Iha means function or movement. So not moving hand, not moving. If we want to look at with anger somebody, then immediately movement of my eyes I restrain. So this himsa is this injury that he will feel, his heart will be hurt, so that will be saved. And when we think about self-knowledge, grief and delusion goes. Why? Because self is Sukha Swarupa. So it is nature of the ocean of happiness. Of that ocean, they say that only sprinkling of one drop is the total happiness what we find in the world by indulging in sense objects. So in this way, this self-knowledge helps us to remove our grief. Whatever grief we have, grief of losing one's own, that also self-knowledge removes, because in the first place, who gave me that near and dear, that instant Keith? Anvishikya Shokamoho. Because first delusion goes and therefore grief also goes. In so many stories in our scriptures it is said that why you are crying when somebody passes on. You see that body in front of you, it is made up of 5 elements, and the one who was enlivening this body, who was walking and talking in this body just before death, he is there. But only now he is not seen, and he will go further and he will take another body. Anikshikya shokamoho dambham mahadupasva. Now you know first thing, dambha. Dambha is called mithyachar or falsehood, because of which we show that I am very righteous, I have done this much, but actually we don't do, and or we do very less, but we just blow it up and we show that I have done much more than actually what we did. So in this way, mithyachar, dambha, it is called. They say that चोरी करे निहाई के सुई का करे दान ऊपर चढ़ चढ़ी देखत कब आयो विमान. One person was there and he was a blacksmith, and when one job came to him, he just stole much iron and steel from that, and to save himself from that scene, of stealing that iron plate that was so heavy and thick, like that anvil of a cobbler. So that much iron he took away, and to save him from that scene, he just gave charity of a needle. So that much iron and steel he gave as charity. And then he thought, I have given this needle as a charity, so I must be a much meritorious person, and therefore from heaven aeroplane will come and take me with this body only to the heaven. And therefore he goes on terrace and awaits for that aeroplane. So this is called mithyachar or dambha, falsehood. It is also called dharmadhvajitvam. As we can see this flag much before, then we see that temple, etc. So same way, whatever little thing he does of righteousness, and he will show it off, blow it off unproportionately. Anvikshikya shoka mahadambham mahadupasaya. And when we serve the great people, then we come to know, oh really, so knowledgeable they are, so wealthy they are, and still so humble they are. When we come to know their greatness, then definitely our this falsehood, that also comes down, and we try to become great really like them, instead of just showing great. The Mahat Dambha, and therefore we should serve others, we should stay near them, we should help them and help them in their work by all means, whatever we have. Yoga Antarayan Maunena. And in this yoga, when we do, suppose we are doing samadhi or pranayama or any other yoga, then we have to keep maun, silence, not to speak inside, and speak very little, very only the needed words. Very necessary sentences I will speak outside, and inside I will try to keep silence. My mind, I will try to keep silence. So that will remove the hurdles in the spiritual practices. And himsam kaya daneya, that we saw, that having control over our limbs and body, that way we can stop injuring. Though 100% non-injury we cannot practice on body level, but at least with mind we can be benevolent to all and praying for the happiness of all. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha. May everyone get health. Jo je vanshil to te laho. Naneshwar Mauli, Saint Naneshwar Mauli says in Pasayadan, the last prayer that he did after finishing his great work Gnaneshwari, to his brother and guru Nivruttinath. Joje vanshila to te laho. May desire of all get fulfilled. May they get whatever they want. Slowly, slowly they will evolve. Himsa kaya danihaya. Further, Guruji says, Krupaya bhutajam dukkham daivam jayhat samadhina atmajam yoga vidyena nidram sattvanishevaya. Sorrow caused by other beings should be overcome by compassion, phenomenal sorrows by practicing equanimity of mind, bodily affliction by yoga, and sleep by sattvic habits. 1, 2, 3. Krupaya bhutajam daivam jayat. 1, 2, 3. Then atmajam yoga viryana nidram sattvanishaya. So 4 things are told here also. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham. By compassion, by having mercy and kindness, by having soft heart, we should forgive them who give afflictions to us, who harm us or hurt us. We should forgive them by being compassionate. Then Daivam Jayat Samadhina. And by natural phenomenon, by this all air and water and fire, so afflictions caused by them, we have to bear with, keeping our mind at equilibrium, keeping our mind steady. Atmajam Yoga Viryana. Atmajam Yoga Viryana. The afflictions that come through us, through our mind, our body, our sense organs, that we have to bear with Yoga Viryana by practicing yoga. And Nidram Sattva Nishevaya. And by increasing Sattva more and more, by increasing alertness, by knowledge, and by that happiness in us, so then we have to conquer this sleep, oversleep. So Krupaya Bhutajam Dukkham. Whenever we think that others are harming us or causing us some inconvenience, etc., then we should be very compassionate to them. We should think pity for them. So they must be going through something, therefore they are doing like this, and we have to forgive them. They are my own self. God only resides in them. Whatever viewpoint we take, either Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, whatever point, or practically also we can see, we cannot complain and we cannot resist and always fight for any discomfort that we go through. We have to bear that. So in this way, Krupaya Bhutajam Dukkham and Jayat, Daivam Jayat Samadhina. When we learn to keep our mind at one equilibrium point, ekagrata, and that mind doesn't always go here and there, so that mind becomes nirvikara, and then we can overcome the heat and cold. These all phenomenal forces caused afflictions. Daivam Jayat Samadhina and Atmajam Yoga Viryana Nidram Sattva Nishevaya. When we practice yogasana practice, definitely there is inner purity of the body. So there is less and less diseases. And when we practice Om, Omkar Sadhana, etc., so that also, then that time our mental diseases, they are also minimized, and we become strong with our willpower, faith in God, faith in Guru, faith in our scriptures, and lastly faith in ourselves, self-confidence. That comes by pranayam, yogasana, and nidram sattva nishevaya. This is very useful for those who want to study. So food also we have to regulate, of course, the food. Exact that measurement of food we should take, like medicine we take. Gurudev says food is like medicine. In small doses, it heals you and it empowers you. But in overdoses, it will kill you. So food is called aushadhi, annaushadhi. Nidram sattva nishevaya. So imbibing in us, cultivating in us more and more sattvic habits, like what we think, let that knowledge be sattvic. Oneself is there, everybody in all. So this is sattvic knowledge. The act should be sattvic, like detached. I am doing my only duty. I am not getting attached to either action or either fruit of action. So this is sattvic karma. Then sattvic dhruti. Sattvic dhruti is that this yoga, etc., I hold my mind, I regulate my mind and try to get mastery over my senses. That is Sattvic Dhruti. Sattvic Sukha, that in the beginning we feel like it poison, but at the end it gives us lasting happiness. And that comes from ourselves. That is Sattvic Sukha. In this way, Sattvic Ahar, veg, completely veg, and full of juicy food, fresh, and taken in after prayer with the feeling of gratitude and with the attitude that I am giving this as an oblation to the fire in the form of hunger that resides in me. So this is a fire ritual as if going on, where inside I give oblation. So with that attitude. So this Sattvic Ahar. In this way, whatever Sattvic habits are there, those all are discussed in Bhagavad Gita 14th, then 17, 18 chapters. And so many places virtues are also given, they are also Sattvic. So Nidram Sattva Nishevaya. Then we can conquer this sleep, and then very minimum hours of sleep is sufficient to us. It is seen that great people like Gurudev, they worked for about 20 hours and only 4 hours, 3 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep, that was sufficient for them to remain and act energetically and with enthusiasm, with full health in the world. So definitely this we can work and experience ourselves. Arjuna also is called Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. Gudakesha means who has regulated his sleep and who is master of the sleep. It is said that whenever Dronacharya in earlier period, he used to teach them in all the Kaurav and all were there. He used to teach them various ways and means of throwing arrow and this all warfare. So Arjun used to practice it more and more to the perfection in night, and thus he got that mastery over archery. And it is said that he was able to use this bow and arrow with his left hand also. Therefore he is called Savyasachi. So if this hand gets injured, that hand is ready to do. People also, when people lost the ability to write, to hold pen because of some stroke, etc., then he developed that skill with the left hand. Equally efficiently and equally nice handwriting, he will write with left hand. Small letters. Nidram Sattva Nishevaya. Further Guruji says, and this is the culmination of this means of purity of mind. Rajastamascha sattvena sattvam chopashamena cha etat sarvam gurau bhaktya purusho yanjasa jayet. The qualities of Rajas and Tamas should be conquered by Sattva, and Sattva by Samadhi. Man can conquer, Samadhi means meditation, man can conquer all these in a quick manner by devotion to his Guru. So here it is said, Rajastamascha Sattvena. When we have got more of inactivity, lethargy, etc., and agitations, ambitions, etc., that we have to conquer with becoming steady, alert, and full of knowledge. Rajotama gun we have to conquer by Sattva gun. Just now we saw that all Sattvic habits we have to develop. So that prominence of Sattva gun will be there in us. Sattvam cha upashamena. And when that Sattva also goes to the peak, then because of that we should not become egoistic, I am Sattvic person, I am holier than thou. That should not come. Upashamena, by withdrawal, by pratyahar, it is called, by bringing all your sense organs, etc., in their respective places by keeping mind at its source only, by keeping your hands, etc., in their places. So, in this way, by withdrawal, we have to overcome this sattva, because after all, this sattva is also, it is called chain that binds you, even though that may be of gold. Oh, so many things are told. How to remember that all? Is there one thing that I can do and I will remove all the impurities of mind? Means the effect of all this will come. Yes, and that is very sweet thing, that is called Etat Sarvam Gurau Bhaktya Purushaha Hi Anjasa Labhet. Immediately, in that moment only, one will get all this if he serves his Guru well. If he serves his teacher guilelessly, efficiently, and remaining alert, he will get all the things, means he will able to conquer all these negativities. His mind will be very pure, he will get knowledge and he will get established in that, and he will ever remember that, and he will be of the nature of happiness and happy in all the transactions. Etat sarvam gurau bhaktya purusho hi anjasa jayet. So first is rajas, tamas, sattvena. Now see, you see, if the person is very dull and very lazy and very inactive, like a stone, some people we see, they sleep even if sun has come up and all the other city is working, but they just lie alongside the road like a stone. They may be intoxicated and that in that. So if like such this tamas is there, then we have to give desire to that person. We have to prompt it to work by showing some good indulgence thing that he likes. Oh, you don't have a bed to sleep? You are sleeping here whole day in mud only. So if you take this wood there, we will give you a bed to sleep. Then he takes. And you will get food also, nice food. If you do this work more, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And then further, in this way, when we give the desire, means from tamas to rajas he is brought. And then from rajas to sattva we have to go. So why I work and I get money and I enjoy. But is there something higher, some noble happiness, some higher thing that I can do? What is the goal of my life? Okay, you serve. That will give you more happiness. That will give you higher happiness. And that will give you subtler happiness. Okay. Then he starts serving others 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 1 day a week, like this. And then when he tastes that joy of selfless service, etc., then he is at rajas, so he has to take now in sattva. So you study this study of scriptures, meditation, that gives you the highest happiness. And if you study commentaries of Shankaracharya on Gita, Upanishad, that all, and you meditate, take your mind, revel in that, then you will get permanent happiness. Then from sattva to sattvatita, sattvatita, shuddha sattva, and shuddha sattva to tattva. So then he becomes gunatita. Rajas tamascha sattvena, sattvam cha upashamena. By sitting quiet and in introspecting oneself and in being introvert and then trying to meditate and reach to culmination to samadhi absorption. So that way sattva guna is also overcome. Etat sarvam guru bhaktya purusho yanjasa labhet. And when one submit to guru, teacher, and he completely becomes, means is owned by guru now, and he whatever guru order he does, so full his ego itself goes, because he has to do guru's bidding. As Guru says, that way he has to do. Wherever Guru sends, he has to go. And in this, ego is diluted. Ego doesn't remain, and therefore all these negativities, those are also doesn't remain, because these are all as if the ministers and say army of ego only. He has only created this all. So etat sarvam gurau bhaktya purusho yanjasa labhet. Very nice. One can think more and more on this. So many examples are there in our scriptures. Even though without any these spiritual practices, they acquired this knowledge. Especially by this service to Guru. In Guru Charitra, the famous book of Datta Sampradaya, also Datta Mahatmya, a famous work by Poojya Thorli Maharaj, is called Vasudevananda Tembe Swami Maharaj. And like this, so many books are there where this service to Guru has resulted to the full, complete Brahma Jnana, self-knowledge to that students. In Chandogya Upanishad, etc. also. That Satyakam Jabali. Guru gives his 400 dilapidated and very weak cows, and he said that let these cows number grow to 1000, and he gives one bullock also, and then you bring them back. Till that you go on taking them different places where lush green pasture is there, where they will graze the grass, and where clean water is there they will drink, and in this way they will grow. You take care of them, you protect them from wild animals, you remain alert, and then you bring them back to ashram when they go, Satyakam, now we are 1000, take us back to your Guru's ashram, Acharya's ashram. And then one fourth of this self-knowledge, that one bullock also says, one swan says, one another bird Madhu says, and one fire god says. So in this way he get, and even in our times also Shankaracharya's disciple, so many are there. One disciple says that he himself made the bund of his own body to channelize the water to Guru's feet. That is Aruni and Dhamya. And when that bullock cannot drag that vehicle full of grains, sacks of grains, then he himself took that Jew on him, and then he carried that bullock cart. And Guru just with sankalpa and with krupa drushti, grace of blessings, the sight of blessings only, he gave him all the knowledge. Unimaginable things happen when this grace of Guru is there. Babaji Pandit, a disciple of Gulabrao Maharaj, who was blind saint but realized saint. In 32 years of age his lifespan was, and he has written 134 books, granthas, that those are Sanskrit also and Marathi also. And in that Madhura Bhakti, Kanta Bhakti, he has given, elaborated. So his disciple Babaji always used to serve him. But once he said that you sit now and you do this discourse. So just words of this Guru, and he was able to speak continuously on that topic, very scholastic talk. Automatically versatility of all scriptures came, and 2.5 hours he just gave that talk. In Naneshwari also we find every beginning of the topic. Naneshwari goes on praising his Guru as Brahma, Niruttinath, his own elder brother, his Guru. And when he will say, now enough of this, now you start this Gita elaboration, Gita discourse. So Naneshwar will say, is for this word I waited. Because of this word, I get inspiration, and then I do this great work. This sweet discourse I give in Naneshwari. Etat sarvam guru bhaktya purusho yanjasa labhet. Then now Guruji is coming to conclude this topic. He say, Upadeshamimam nityam vimrushami punah punah. Upadeshamimam nityam vimrushami punah punah. Shamanam chakrapashyami malanam tu shanaihi. I have been constantly reflecting on this teaching. I do see a gradual reduction in my impurities. Upadesham imam nityam. This preaching, this teaching, I always think I will give it a piece of my mind. I think about it. Vimrushami punah punah, again and again, daily. I think on that. Shamanam cha prapashyami malanam cha shanai shanai. And slowly I am experiencing that I am getting desireless, I am getting peaceful and quiet, and anger I am not entertaining much. Then greed, my greed is reducing, and I am become detached from the things of indulgence, etc. So in this way I am finding improvement in me, and these impurities of mind are leaving me steady. So I will keep this doing. Further he says, Ishvara nugraha devam prasadena gurostatha kim na sadhyam maya loke nischinto hamato dhuna. Thus, by the grace of the Lord and my teacher, what is there in this world that cannot be accomplished for me? And hence, I now am free from all anxieties. See, faith comes, and faith makes you carefree and worryless that how it will happen, whether I will get liberation, whether this my mind, which is very, very just defective, will be able to hold all this knowledge, etc. So that anxiety goes when you have trust and faith in God. And thus I have served my teacher. So with his grace, my mind will be very purified, and then I will get established in the true knowledge. My mind will be very pure to enjoy that greatest happiness. So these are the thoughts of a seeker, devotee and desirer of knowledge who works in this line by self-inquiry, by right thinking, as guided by scriptures and sense. And the last one, verse, Guruji says, Prapsyami shikram manaso hi shuddhim lina swarupe bhavita cha buddhi Pashyan nijananda swarupa lokam sukham charishyami sada vimuktaha. Verily, soon I shall gain the purity of mind, and my intellect will abide in the self. Seeing this world as my own blissful self, I shall happily roam about, ever free. Prapsami shighram manasohi shuddhim. Soon I will acquire this purity of mind if I work in this way, because it has started now. And see, this is very great victory. And this gives us so much subtle joy that yes, I can regulate my mind. I am witnessing my thoughts now. I am not getting identified with them. I am slowly coming out of the slavery of my mind. It is becoming pure, it is becoming obedient, it is cooperating with me, it is having the desire to know more and more. So this is such a nice feeling. Lina swarupe bhavita cha buddhi. And when mind is calm and quiet, pure, then clarity of knowledge comes, and that intellect gets merged, gets absorbed in our own self. Pashyan nijananda swarupa lokam. And as if one directly sees that blissful self. So much clarity is there in that, as if we see a fruit on our palm. Pashan nijananda swarupa lokam sukham charishyami sada vimukta. And the rest of the life I will just revel in this happiness wherever I go, whatever I do. Sukham charishyami sada vimukta. Fully liberated I am, and never ever afterwards this ignorance will come to me. Never ever acts will bind me, and never ever my mind will be again impure. Because that will again hide this bliss of the self. That will just hinder, again that will cover with this ignorance. So that will never happen. In this way, Guruji gives the process of purity of mind, Manah Shodhanam, that will make you fit for getting knowledge, and that is the next text that we'll see afterwards. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadguru.